know that the founder of Pokemon Go, John Hanke, received funding from In-Q-Tel, which is the venture capital firm created by the CIA. And while you and your friends were walking around your city, scanning the earth to catch your favorite Pokemon, the game's developer, Niantic Incorporated, was collecting all that data and using it to build advanced 3D maps to facilitate military attacks on third world countries.
What? No. No. First 30 seconds is wild.
That can't be true.
There's no way
I was part of that gang. There's just no shot.
Gang.
Yo, there's no way that is real. That actually is like a fucking Black Mirror plot line, man.
Yeah, like what is that?
There is no fucking
Pokemon Go? Yo,
You see, Pokemon Go was created by the same guy who essentially created Google Earth. John Hanke was the co-founder of Keyhole, which developed a 3D digital mapping program called Earth Viewer. Keyhole's Earth Viewer 3D client application uses video game-like 3D graphics and access to massive databases of network-hosted Earth information, including satellite imagery and aerial photography.
What is this quality? Is this my fault?
Yeah, that was crazy.
No, it's just old.
To produce an interactive digital model of the Earth. The product was unlike anything.
So they was doing it all over the world, not even just here. For us, it was a game. For everyone else, it was
anyone had ever seen before in the early 2000s, but it was unclear what its use case would be, and therefore Keyhole was bleeding money. Every few months for years, John would find himself scrambling to raise money from Silicon Valley investors to keep the lights on. That was until In-Q-Tel saved his company from going under.
Then we got really a lifeline from a kind of unusual source. In-Q-Tel was this new little venture capital firm that was basically a government VC firm with money from the intelligence community. So that was one of the few.
Okay.
Intelligence community.
I don't think I need to say how weird that sentence just there was.
Right.
Hold on. It's a VC firm funded by the government Why is government intelligence agencies funding venture capitalist firms? Why is the public sector funding?
He's on it way more than me. I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's very fucking facts, though.
Private sector business, bro. That's like, and not like in like not like they gave them a grant or something like that.
No, they just send them bread.
That's a bizarre sentence to hear out loud, by the way.
Funds in the valley that was doing real business, and they were making a lot of investments at the time. This was in the kind of post 9/11 security ramp up period, and so
this is crazy as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
And invested a few $1 million in the company.
Thanks to In-Q-Tel's funding, Keyhole was supplying technology to troops in Iraq and the Pentagon, and they ultimately became a profitable company due to the massive amount of government contracts rolling in. Shortly after, Keyhole was acquired by Google in 2004, and they turned this technology into...
So this is what it was before it was ever Google Earth. It was this.
After Keyhole was acquired by Google in 2004, and they G2 troops.
So Google Earth was previously Keyhole, and In-Q-Tel, the government invested into that thing so they could make it into
in Iraq and the Pentagon, and they ultimately became a profitable company due to the massive amount of government contracts rolling in. Shortly after, Keyhole was acquired by Google in 2004, and they turned this technology into...
So this is what it was before it was ever Google Earth. It was this.
After Keyhole was acquired by Google in 2004, and they turned this technology into what we now know as Google Earth. After Google's acquisition, John Hanke became the vice president of product management for the...
Why are you on a bike, nigga?
This thing. Oh my god, I don't know something about this. I just like,
that's performative as fuck.
Gang.
Company's
Get this nigga off the
Geo
fucking
Division, where he
bike,
oversaw
bro.
products like Google Earth and Maps. Google Earth was revolutionary because it gave everyone access to detailed satellite imagery of nearly the entire planet from a home computer. You could explore unfamiliar cities, inspect neighborhoods before moving, and plan trips, but they quickly realized it was far more powerful than that. Humanitarian organizations began using it to coordinate disaster relief. Scientists monitored deforestation and climate change. Archaeologists used it to discover previously unknown ruins. Journalists investigated war zones, and governments used it because it was better than anything they had access to.
And I used it because back in the day, you had to buy a fucking GPS machine for $600.
Fuck that.
If you wanted
No
to know where you
way.
were going when you got in the car. You had to buy a
No
GPS
way.
machine for $600, bro. And then Google Maps and Google Earth came out and it was fucking free.
Bankrupt.
It made no sense how
They're
that was possible.
gone.
It ended up being used in ways that we never anticipated. I guess I'll just say it that way. When Katrina happened in New Orleans, the Coast Guard was using Google Earth and Craigslist to basically find where people were trapped and send helicopters in to rescue them.
You are the product.
Kind of
I
crazy.
was finna say that's right when you press allow on the tracking and shit. I mean, it's in the fucking. They don't hide it, nigga. It's the facts. They're using your shit. Like what?
You would think, well, the government, they've got lots of sophisticated software, but as it turns out, web software that's available that already has the data in it, it's ready, easy to use.
Boom, bang.
A breakthrough, really.
But after working for 6 years inside Google's corporate ecosystem,
Pokemon,
Hankey
huh?
wanted the freedom to combine everything he'd learned about digital maps and augmented reality to create a video game. Now, if you
PokemonGo.
ask me, that seems like a crazy career change.
Right, how you, like,
Technically,
go
the
from-
foundation of John's EarthViewer product started in college while working with his classmates on an open-world video game idea.
That's
but he
pretty
knew
cool.
the technology had much more potential,
Right.
and it did. So after changing the world with his vision, creating a CIA-funded startup for military operations, and then getting acquired by a tech giant, going back to being a video game developer seems like a massive career and lifestyle change. That is, unless it was part of a larger plan. Google actually did not want John Hankey to leave the company. For whatever reason, they felt that his video game idea might become valuable to them in the future, so they convinced him
my
to
God.
create Niantic Labs as an autonomous unit inside of Google.
Niantic is owned by Google.
Yeah.
Bitch. Niantic is owned by Google?
I don't even know the antics, but that's crazy.
Basically, they gave him the freedom
The
of
rabbit hole.
creating a startup, but using all of Google's resources inside
make
of
that
Google's
bitch
walls.
big.
If it failed, Google would get their employee back, and if it succeeded, then Google could be an early investor
try my
or
drink,
part
Chad.
owner of
Fuck.
a major video game innovation. Niantic's first major product was an app called Field Trip, a virtual tour guide that analyzed the user's location, provided suggestions for nearby landmarks to visit, and offered information about the area. It wasn't much of a game, but it laid the foundation for their next big project called Ingress. Launched in 2012, Ingress was an augmented reality
That looks
mobile
a lot
game
like
that
a game
prompts
we've played
users
before,
to explore
chat.
their neighborhoods and locate portals at nearby landmarks. This was quite literally
Wow.
the same idea as PokemonGo. Those who played it were intoxicated by the addictive gameplay loop, although it failed to pull in a large player base even years after its release.
Obviously, it looks
Luckily for
kinda
Niantic, one of the
whack.
game's players would prove to be an invaluable asset with direct ties to the Pokemon Company.
Oh,
But real
God.
quick, I'm sure you have all
Yeah, thank you, Agent. You
A
be on
Japanese
it.
Google Maps engineer named Tatsuo Nomura pitched the idea of placing Pokemon inside of Google Maps as an April Fool's joke. He traveled to Japan and got
That's
direct permission
crazy.
from the Pokemon Company to implement the feature. John Hankey asked Nomura to show the Pokemon Company's executive board the Ingress game. Little did they know that the president of the Pokemon Company
nigga
was
look like
already
Jackie
a
Chan.
massive fan of the game. And because of this, Niantic was able to secure a partnership with Nintendo
Oh
and
my
create
God.
Pokemon Go. They launched the game on July 6, 2016, but
That bit
they
was a
never
hit.
could have anticipated the chaos that would come next.
Yo, that's not racist, nigga. He does look like Jackie Chan. Yo, in 2016, when this game came out, let me tell you how it saved me from depression, gang. I was on campus alone. I had to stay on campus because I couldn't record YouTube videos at the crib. So I literally am 2 hours away from home. Pokemon Go came out, and I'm outside, nigga, trying to capture everything, bro.
Going crazy.
For like 4 weeks,
That's
I was
good.
averaging like 30,000 steps a day, gang.
That's great for your
And then I
depression.
found out that everybody started using cars and shit and like GPS
Oh,
apps and stuff like
no.
that to get away. And I was like, nah, they ruined the game.
They ruined the game, the
But, like, for,
authenticity.
like 3-4 weeks though.
In just 2 months
I was
after its
on
release,
that.
the app
That's
was
why that boy's
downloaded
skinny
over
now.
500 million times, and an estimated 21 million players logged in every single
21
day
every
on
day.
average. Not only had it surpassed the success of mobile games like Candy Crush or Clash Royale, but it was pulling in more engagement than websites like Twitter and Facebook. The concept was simple. You walked around your neighborhood and searched for virtual Pokemon. When you
So
found
lit.
one, the game
I can
used
never
your
find
phone's
no good
camera
ones
to make it look like
because I always lived in a small town, so I can never find like the rare ones. I would have to like go to Corpus, but I was like, oh my god, I used to walk around town and capture shit, but I was like, I think I got a Pikachu one time. I was so fucking turned, but like there was like a really good one at like City Hall, And I was like, fuck, I can't get over there, bro. That shit was so lit. Oh, it was like I was actually a Pokemon player.
Pokemon was right in front of you, and you used Pokeballs to catch them and add them to your collection. The game incentivized users to explore the world around them, offering various digital Pokestops at notable locations or landmarks. These Pokestops served as a hub to collect in-game items and use special lures to attract more Pokemon. This also included Pokemon gyms. Players
the gyms were so lit.
I
wanted to go, but no one was
with
there.
Rival Pokemon hunters to control areas to earn Pokecoins and buy upgrades. PokemonGo wasn't just another mobile video game. It transformed your local neighborhood into a fantasy world. This is why it became a cultural phenomenon almost instantly. Public parks were overflowing with players searching for rare Pokemon. Restaurants and stores used nearby Pokestops to advertise their businesses, and content creators were racking up millions of views just by playing the game.
Oh my god!
Into mainstream pop culture.
Yeah, I knew shit was crazy when fucking Chris Smooth dropped the PokemonGo video.
Not Chris Smooth.
They got
What's good, baby?
Becoming a topic of discussion on late-night television shows, and was infamously referenced by Hillary Clinton during her 2016 presidential campaign.
I don't know who created PokemonGo.
Yeah, you do.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
It's safe.
Imagine being able to build.
Why me? It didn't deserve an ad. It was bad.
About it.
But he didn't deserve an ad, bro. I did a fucking soundboard. Boo, you stink!
Holy holy jeez Louise.
Discussed making headlines for its record-breaking numbers. It was also being linked to real-world accidents, life-altering injuries, and even deaths.
Yikes.
Only days after the game's release, 2 men were hospitalized while playing Pokemon Go. They hopped a fence to get access to a Pokemon on the other side, ignoring a sign warning pedestrians of the unstable ground on a nearby cliff, which both men eventually fell down. The players sustained serious injuries, but fortunately survived. Others were not so lucky. A truck driver in Japan hit 2 women while playing Pokemon Go, severely injuring one and killing the other. Players of the game began to find themselves in increasingly dangerous situations as both drivers and pedestrians were getting distracted by the app. And the more people became immersed in the world of Pokemon, they lost.
Like, everything's great at first, but then, like, you know, it settles in, and then, like, people start doing dumb shit. You're not supposed to text and drive in the first place. Why all of a sudden it's a
touch with the world around them. Players began disrupting religious services.
On everything I stand for, 2 houses down from my crib back when I lived in Ajax, after I dropped out from school, there was a fucking library that looked just like this, bro. There was a library that looked just like this, and it had the area. And when I had friends come over to my house, they would literally leave my house to go get the Pokemon at the stop and then come back.
That's crazy.
It was a problem, gang. It was getting too crazy. I'm be honest. It was just traffic starting to come as a result.
Services and funerals.
Pokemon
Go and this was like a year or 2 after the craze. It wasn't like in the craze.
Stop playing the game inside of their establishment. Players were also being disruptive at the Arlington National Cemetery.
Why are they having
for grieving families and members of the military paying their respects? As you can imagine, after Pokemon Go exploded in popularity, the video game industry became extremely interested in learning more about the developers. John Hanke of Niantic Labs was interviewed in front of a live audience at TechCrunch in San Francisco and seemed like he could not be less interested.
First and most importantly, what team are you on?
He don't give a fuck.
I'm yellow. I'm all about the yellow. Yeah.
You just lied.
Me too.
Yeah.
Team Instinct, anyone out there?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Team Instinct, there we go. I'm not going to try and button that back up.
He's so locked in. Yeah, that was crazy. He thought...
Oh boy.
Up on stage.
It's crazy that the creator of the game couldn't even properly answer the question, what team are you? Which refers to one of the 3 factions players can join once they reach level 5. Team Valor, which is red, Team Mystic, which is blue, or Team Instinct, which is yellow. He just said, the yellow one. The interviewer was clearly a Pokemon fan, and Hanke seemed like the total opposite. It was disappointing to players that the most viral game of 2016 surrounding one of the most beloved IPs of all time was being spearheaded by a boring corporate suit. But what was particularly interesting was his insights on working with governments before they launched the game in different countries.
So we're still in the rollout phase of the game.
Do you know what the next rollout country is going to be?
Yo, this nigga's off drugs, gang.
Off everything.
I can just tell when a nigga's off the drugs. And most of these like highly productive, like corporate business mogul millionaires, they're all off the fucking Adderall and shit. They be off the ketamine. Look at his fucking facial reactions. He can't control them, bro.
Phase of the game.
Look at his face.
Do you know what the next rollout country is going to be?
That's crazy.
Off the shit.
I have
Yeah,
a really good idea,
holy
but it is
shit.
pending getting things squared away on the, government relations side and getting everything prepared. So I can't say right now. It has been interesting that.
Come on, you need a better face than this guy.
They
What
should
the
have sent
fuck
somebody
did he just?
way different
He's
to
asking
this
you questions
bitch.
about the game, and he just said we got to the government
Like,
side.
you know what his
Yo,
mind's
bro,
on.
You have a fucking GPS Google Earth geek on stage, bro. Get someone that understands the game on camera, man. This makes no sense. Why is he the face of the shit? I understand if he founded it, but you don't need the founder to be the face, bro.
For sure.
We didn't really anticipate the level to which it would attract interest from government people and policy
He's
people
talking
and
about
things
the
like that.
government.
But that's become part of the dialogue at this point.
Why is he saying this?
I don't know.
This is such a weird thing to say, bro. He's asking you about the game, and you're telling us the government's really interested in it. Why?
Where's my nigga's head
So
at?
we're getting, more well versed in those skills.
Now, we don't really know what
What?
interests
Yo, what up,
governments
D?
had with the game. Now, I'd imagine governments had obvious
This is crazy as
concerns,
hell,
like
dog.
tens of thousands of people gathering
Whoa!
in parks,
No way, that's
people
a Pokemon
blindly
Go.
walking into traffic, etc. But Hanky didn't use the word concerns. He said interests. Another thing to note was that South Korea refused to let Google export its detailed government map data to foreign servers out of fear that it could expose military bases and other sensitive locations to
that was the
North
point of
Korea,
it, too.
which made PokemonGo nearly impossible to launch across most of South Korea. China also heavily regulates foreign access to geographic data and blocked Google Maps entirely because it considers detailed mapping a matter of national security.
So you mean to tell me if I go on Google Maps
Let's see if that's facts.
and I type in South Korea,
When playing
It
games
literally
on PC,
said,
do you ever
y'all
wonder
didn't
if
see
someone
the
had
AI,
with you in it?
but it literally
Download
said
Metal,
South
play
Korea,
with
Google Maps
albums,
has
clips
limited
you're in,
function in
and
South Korea.
I mean, I figured out where Gear Yong Ro is. Feel me? I feel like it's pretty fucking detailed.
Maybe things changed a little bit. Maybe maybe don't let you see
Okay.
certain parts, like certain parts.
Maybe
It was
maybe
10
they
years
just
ago.
didn't like Google Earth. I don't know.
It was 10 years ago. Yeah, you're all up in that shit.
Hey, whatever. Street View. How do you get to Street View? Sorry, I usually use it on my. I sound like a boomer, but guys, I usually.
I don't even know how to use
Shut
this
up!
either.
Oh, I think you dropped this guy, right?
That's South Korea. That's actually pretty.
We're here.
Looks kind of good over there.
We're here.
I wouldn't say.
Farming intelligence for North Korea.
Ah.
That's the type of shit
Y'all
that gets
know
you banned
your
from South
story.
Korea. Let me shut up.
Yeah, true.
All right, where is the Samsung
Actually,
store?
Let me go ahead and skip this little part.
In other words,
Bullshit,
while most
bullshit.
players saw Pokemon Go as a harmless mobile game, entire governments were already treating the data underneath it like a potentially dangerous military asset. The question is, did Niantic Labs know that they were wielding a dangerous military asset? Well, there was
Yes.
this one controversy that came up where iPhone users discovered that signing in through Google gave Niantic full access to their accounts. Per Google's
Oh,
own
shit.
description, this meant access to both view and modify anything in the account. To many, they believed that this meant unfiltered access to their images, videos, and emails, although it wasn't that simple. Niantic stated that it only had access to the user's IDs and email addresses,
Okay.
and Google personally verified that no additional information was given to the company. So since Niantic couldn't steal the data just by someone making an account, they had to trick users into giving it up for free. And what resulted
Yep.
was one of the most ambitious geospatial data collection projects ever hidden
No,
behind
did
a
I fall for
mobile
the trap?
game. One
No.
whose technology would later facilitate
Wow.
devastating military operations.
Nigga, is that an
4 years after the
AC-130?
game's
I don't know what
release,
that is, but that sounds
Niantic
lethal.
introduced an
Right after the
interesting
video,
new
right after the
feature, AR mapping
There's 10 minutes
tasks. Pokestops marked by notable landmarks would now offer users rewards if they completed AR scanning prompts. These require
Oh,
players
man.
to scan the surrounding area with their phone's camera for about 20 to 30 seconds.
They're
Interesting
using
that
us.
this feature was not
They're
available
using
for
us.
children's accounts. From the player's
Oh,
perspective,
God.
the
Yo, Ray, actually, you should give a fuck about this video because out of all my friends, you played Pokemon Go the most.
Oh shit! Ray gave up straight
You
intelligence.
have the most stacked
No, don't
Pokemon
say
Go
that
account.
because they're
You
gonna
should
hear Agent. They're gonna be like,
to take part.
Oh my
Niantic claimed that the data collected would inform the game's engine to understand the depth and complexity of the real world. This would make for a way more immersive experience, in
Like
which
they don't know what the
virtual
world looks like
objects
through
could
Google Earth.
seamlessly integrate with the world around them. In hindsight, it seems like an evil genius plan.
Yeah.
The man who created Google Earth and worked directly with the CIA and international...
You know what they
It sounds
fucked up?
crazy.
They made the AR mode harder than the actual game itself. So when you go into AR mode, capturing a Pokemon is significantly harder. So if all you gave a fuck was the Pokemon and not the realism, you did not use the mode. If they were smart,
didn't.
let me not give them any ideas.
National intelligence organizations was getting people
delete
to
the bot.
voluntarily
Delete the whole
3D
bot.
scan the world around them while they think they're just helping Niantic make a better Pokemon game. These scans would help develop a much larger
They
technology
finessing
called
niggas.
Lightship VPS,
Whoa!
which stands for Visual Positioning System. The satellite-based technology of GPS was useful, but not optimized for the best augmented reality experience. For example, it might be able to tell you that you're near a statue, but it's typically incapable of understanding where you are relative to the landmark, whether you are behind it or in front of it, if you are 3 feet away or 30 feet away. This information isn't important when getting general directions for a road trip, but when it comes to making accurate drone strikes on enemy base
That is a
camps
Harrier
without
missile.
harming innocent civilians, it can make a massive difference. When players scanned a landmark, they recorded more than just a video. It tracked the latitude, longitude, and altitude of the user's device. It also utilized the phone's accelerometer and gyroscope,
it's that shit that be
allowing
on
the
Call of
system
Duty,
to
on Black Ops, where they be plotting them super schemes. They be like, how are we gonna get them to give us the information for free? Call them up. Game developer moving like this. I got what you need, sir. Y'all can't even see me no more, huh? But y'all get the gist. Y'all get the gist. Damn, what did I do? Okay. I did all
recorded more than just a video. It tracked the latitude, longitude, and altitude of the user's device. It also utilized the phone's
You can't go full screen no more? I broke my shit. Hold on, chat. I broke my shit. Hold on, chat. I broke my shit. There we go.
accelerometer and gyroscope, allowing the system to consider the phone's position and orientation. Considering all of this data, the scans could be used to make reliable
this fucking
inferences
Google
about the
employee,
user's
man.
distance from both the landmark itself and the surrounding environment. Every scan submitted was unique, taken at different
Oh, wow.
angles,
How did you get
positions,
this
and
info?
distances. Each video was divided into approximately 300 individual images, all of which were pieced
This
together
is
with
crazy
other
to look
scans
at.
to create a full 3D digital map of the area. Essentially, Niantic was
They
creating
have
the
us
world's
3D
largest,
mapping
most
everything.
detailed...
Okay, bet we can
Imagine
counter that,
that.
chat. All we have to do is
Bro,
move
Agent,
everything
oh my-
around a little bit, and their tracking is gonna be off, bro. All right, one thing about tracking,
Move
and
what
mapping
around the
things,
earth?
If you just move things around a little bit, bro, move the bench from this way, 1 foot this way, they're fucking cooked, man. Everything's gonna be inaccurate.
3D scan
guess
of
that's
the
fair.
entire world, and Pokemon Go players were helping for the most innocent intentions. VPS could compare the player's live footage against this virtual world to determine the player's exact location, which helped influence where
a good
objects
throw.
and
That's a
Pokemon
great
would be
throw, little
anchored
curl on
within
that
the
hoe.
real world.
That's creepy because if I was this woman right here,
You would just think
I'd
she
be like, yo,
would
why
put-
the fuck is this nigga recording me?
Think about how NPCs in Grand Theft Auto sometimes mindlessly walk around with
Moving
no
a street.
intention or logic applied to them. Pokemon Go was similar initially, but with this new technology, the Pokemon could now be programmed to interact with their surroundings. Instead of being mindlessly placed on the ground, they would be able to hide behind the landmarks or even climb on top of them. Put simply, the goal of this technology was to make a near-perfect replica of the world the way that humans would experience it, so that the Pokemon in the game could literally interact with the
flabbergasted,
world
chat.
the same way a human might. And players were willing to sacrifice 30 seconds of their day if it meant free rewards and a
Getting
better
that W
experience down the
Pokemon.
line.
Oh my
And by
God.
November of 2022, Niantic revealed that they had developed more than 120,000 digital maps of various locations throughout the globe. But technology this powerful would be wasted if it were only used for Pokemon Go. And Niantic understood this deeply. While they stated their goal was always to give people tools to become 21st century explorers, it felt felt like they were leaving a massive opportunity on the table. But VPS also had a major limitation. The system was only able to recognize information it had already been given. If a landmark had only been scanned from the front, the model would not be as effective when used from behind. And if it had received no prior information on a landmark, there was nothing the model could work with to provide an immersive experience. They had now gathered enough data for 1 million different waypoint locations to have full VPS integrations, but there were still millions of locations that had not been fully scanned. Niantic sought to fix this issue with their large geospatial model announced in 2024. The goal was to take all of the combined data they had collected and use AI to make inferred guesses about partially unscanned locations.
That's what I was thinking.
Niantic uses a church as an example. If players had only scanned the front of a particular church, the VPS technology might be unable to recognize footage taken from behind, but the large geospatial model could infer based on thousands of other churches that had been fully scanned and make an educated prediction about what the back of that specific church would actually look like. Humans have the ability to do this naturally. We are capable of applying our personal lived experience
we're the original
to make
bitch.
inferences about our environment. If I showed you the front of a house, you could probably make a pretty good guess about what the back of it looks like. You might not.
Or in front of a bad bitch, you could make a pretty good guess based on the fucking figure what the back of the bad bitch looks like. We understand what you're trying to say.
Right, but you'd expect windows in roughly the same places, a back door, maybe an AC unit, a fence, or a patio. Your brain does not know that specific house. It's recognizing patterns from thousands of houses you've seen before. Niantic wanted AI to learn that same instinct, but with near perfect precision. And only months after announcing their large geospatial model, Niantic made the shocking decision to sell PokemonGo. While Scopely Incorporated acquired the rights to Niantic's catalog of games for $3.5 billion, Niantic retained all of the data, research, and technology.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
They say, yo, we got what we needed.
Deuces!
AI now. We don't need this anymore. Let's get out of the gaming business and let's start fucking selling some of this data to the government. That's basically what they just said.
Developing over the last decade, which includes their VPS and geospatial models. In other words, they kept their most valuable IP, sold the rest of their got the data, and were ready to move on, leaving Pokemon in the dust, which to some makes it seem like they never cared about Pokemon in the first place, and it was all a part of a bigger operation. The company shifted its focus away from video game development and under the leadership of John Hanke began working on Niantic Spatial. The company made it clear this technology had far more potential than improving augmented reality experiences. It had the ability to help both humans and machines to understand the world and navigate it. Instead of figuring out where to spawn Pokemon, the technology could be used to train a robot or AI-powered vehicles to determine their locations without the use of GPS.
Or like a Turo car, or like shit like that.
Like, you know how outside of your town, you don't really know where you're going or where you are, but thankfully you have access to GPS on your phone. Well, they're working on a technology for machines.
That's scary. Don't show me 70 robots.
Yeah, like why would he do that?
Office doing nothing. There's something so dystopian about this right here, man. This is bizarre, man. This is...
Keep it.
Now at McDonald's, a sausage burrito is $2 on the under $3 menu.
Man.
I don't know, dude.
Robots or vehicles that would essentially install a perfect one-to-one understanding of the entire world. So you could theoretically place it anywhere and it'll know exactly where it is and exactly how to get where it needs to go in the fastest way possible. And initially, this tool was being marketed as something that could enhance manufacturing, warehousing, logistics, construction, tourism, entertainment, and education. Like a warehouse worker could use the VPS technology to navigate the facility and streamline the process of conducting inventory management instead of just like walking around the building and understanding where things are and where they need to go. But Niantic was also getting involved in areas that most might not have expected. This became clear when Niantic Spatial announced it was teaming up with a company called Vanter in December of 2025. While Niantic had its roots in the gaming industry, Vanter had...
This reminds me of those movies where like all of the people like meet up and they're like, yo, like we have the investors here, and it's just like yo, it's Niantic, or like, yo, we trying to buy this for this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy.
Had always been a part of the intelligence and defense sectors. They are best known for creating mapping systems used by military commanders and soldiers to analyze the battlefield and coordinate. This partnership may seem bizarre on the surface, but it was actually a perfect match. Vanter had developed a visual positioning system called Raptor. Similar to VPS, Raptor was capable of determining its location by analyzing its environment and making inferences. When a drone became disconnected from GPS signal, it could utilize Raptor to assess the roads, buildings, and hills to figure out its position relative to Vanter's own personal map. However, the technology was relatively limited as it gathered data from airborne drone footage, meaning its pool of data was limited to the sky. This is where the partnership really starts to make sense. VPS system did everything Raptor did, but on the ground floor. Specifically, it gave the same tools to both troops on the ground.
So Raptor just got done analyzing the skies. VPS and Niantic just got done analyzing the ground.
We got everything.
Combination.
We got everything.
Yo, why anytime somebody makes like a very good technology, they just sell it to the military, bro? Like,
more like the military comes to
technology
them.
to do anything. We gotta bomb everybody, my nigga. Like, god damn. Niggas would find a cure to cancer and give it to the military, bro. Holy smokes, man.
I don't know if they got
AI just became kind of useful, and immediately they're like, oh, how can we give it to the military? And that's what they did.
It did become a little useful because they
no
like
hesitation. No hesitation. No hesitation.
No hezo, nigga.
As well as AI-controlled robots and vehicles. With Vanter in the sky and Niantic on the ground, the two companies hope to create a shared digital map that can be used by drones, vehicles, and people with or without the use of GPS to stay connected. Was Niantic developing weapons or making decisions in regards to active combat? No, but they were playing a role that is arguably just as
huge
important.
role.
They were helping AI-powered drones understand where they were and help them stay coordinated with personnel on the ground. Technology originally marketed as a way to make your Pokemon catching experience more immersive was now helping drones, vehicles, and soldiers coordinate on the battlefield. Niantic has continued to become a more prominent part of the defense sector. Recently, the visual positioning system received awardable status through a federal marketplace, Tradewind Solutions, meaning that government agencies were able to negotiate deals and purchase the technology for their own use. And taking a look at Niantic Spatial's website, they appear to have struck deals with the United States Coast Guard and the Air Force. So this isn't some kind of crazy conspiracy theory.
No,
the data they gathered through PokemonGo was used to develop mapping technology that is literally being used by the military. I'm not sure how many
using citizens to help the government, like the scene in Good Will Hunting when they wanted to hire Will. Yo, this shit is crazy.
That's what I've been saying, like the movies.
Back in the day, the military spending would inspire innovation that we could use in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, the military invented so many things that we use in our day-to-day on like personal levels that's super useful. And I feel like in 2026 it's the opposite. We just, any kind of cool technology we have is the opposite. We just find a way to like monetize it through government contracts in the military. Cause like you would never think PokemonGo would have a connection.
Man, you really wouldn't.
To people getting bombed, gang. That's just such
in GTA.
This such a crazy. You would never think that.
PokemonGo players who agreed to participate in AR scanning would have done so knowing that this was going to be used for the military, which is why now tons of players feel like they were straight up lied to. When Niantic first introduced the AR scanning feature, the company was transparent about their intentions to an extent. It told players that these scans would be used to create a better gaming experience, and while they did make it clear that this data would be used in apps outside of PokemonGo, I'm not sure if anyone expected military defense applications. Which is why it seems as though this was always the purpose of creating this technology. When you think about it,
like if you told people your PokemonGo data was going to be used to make Google Maps more accurate, like some people would find that fishy and not want to do it, but a lot of people would be like, whatever, I use Google Maps anyway. But if you told them it's going to be used to coordinate a Harrier missile strike across the world, I feel like a lot more people may not be wanting down to do that. But of course, they're not going to tell you that. But they're going to be like, yo, just click accept. Click OK, gang. You're not going to read all this shit, gang. Just scroll through it. It's like 17 fucking pages.
I'm not going to read that shit.
Niantic was never really
know
a
that.
game
God,
developer.
Chad,
They've
I
always
helped
been a mapping company.
Shut up,
Since John Hankey's first
Yeah, I know,
business,
choice.
he
Oh
moved
my
directly to the
God.
CIA, and he later went on to work a high-value job
was in
in Google's
Hawaii.
Geo division. He always has been aware of the massive price tag governments are willing to
We
place
would all
on
be
data.
rich if we were
With
paying for the
Pokemon
value of
Go,
our data.
Niantic had access to information that wasn't available anywhere else. Pokemon Go was meant to be a family-friendly experience. It drew players in with the promise of getting to be fully.
That's just cool,
This
bro.
is true.
Like, just
This is
straight
true.
up, man.
Look at this.
Like, your
We had
favorite
lit.
Pokemon
We were
in
lit.
front of you in your environment. Like, that's just so fucking cool. Like, they just created such a cool thing, and then
Yeah, bro. They kind of botched it with that one. Well, I wouldn't say botched it, but they had other plans. But I'm glad that we got something out of that. I ain't gonna lie. We got probably one of the best games ever out of that little scheme. And they got what they got. And shit, that is crazy though. Who would have thunk, bro? Who would have thunk? I think nowadays everybody's more hip to us what that stuff's about. But damn. Anyway, W Pokemon Go, bro. Crazy situation, crazy story. With that being said, chat, I love you guys. I will see y'all in the next one. It's been real. Tap in with the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Do your worst, do your best. Make sure you pray today and make sure you get right. Whatever you do, be you. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces.